Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We're back with Elijah and I casting the second game of tonight. That will be your NTE versus NDE. Elijah, what are your thoughts on this second game?
Now, we went through our predictions for the Naughty Sausages and Trident. Trident taking that win. I believe it was 7-5 off of my memory. Maybe even closer than that. But we can head to the predictions to see what we've got for Nutty Gaming versus NDE. Now, I do believe, off of the top of my head, I picked Nutty Gaming to take this win. They've been playing super well throughout the recent few playdays. And not to take it away from NDE either. They've been working on themselves, and that is proving to be true through their games, as I've seen. They've gotten a lot better in terms of working around each other. Now, I can guess that NDE, they can put up a good fight against Nutty. But, we'll have to see, depending on the map, depending on the bands. It's anybody's guess.
It is anybody's guess, but, obviously Nutty, they are in that 4th place and NDE in that 10th place. So it's a bit of an underdog story for NDE, and they're a little bit low on that leaderboard. But Villa will be the map of choice today, and it was going to be a villa or a skyscraper. So I like this, Elijah. We were going to see maps that, Villa we see, every now and again. It isn't uncommon, but these last couple of playdays, we haven't seen it
less common,
as often. And NTE, they're going to start off on that defense, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for NDE. But I think it's a bit of a frag-heavy map, so I think it goes into the playstyle of both these teams. It'll be interesting to see how they play. I do believe NDE have played Villa already this season, so I wonder if... I think they won as well in overtime.
I believe they won,
so
yeah, they did. They did really well, and I remember that there was a huge clip of a 4K or an ace by one of their players in particular. So, like you said, frag heavy map, and it plays into the playstyle of both of these maps. So I got to agree with you, absolutely.
It does, and obviously NDE, they're not really fighting for anything in terms of trying to make playoffs or anything like that. I do believe they can't quite reach it, as this is the second last play day of the regular season, and I think they just got to play for themselves. Getting a win under the belt would be good. And look at these beautiful cams. We see, oh, look at Gluttony. He's got his little, I think that's Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. He's got his little Stitch hat.
Family. That's what it's all about here at Seeds, family. So, I like the feature. We didn't get to see it last run as all the players they didn't have their cams on. But we get to see the lovely faces from both NDE and Nutty Gaming this time. Not all of them though, but enough will do, and it will suffice. Yeah,
and we get to see Fang on the side of NDE as well. Fang we haven't quite seen yet, I do believe. I don't know. Did he? I'm pretty sure this is his first game. So yeah. Fang is a good old friend of mine. He's a very, very nice, man. And I'm keen to see him play for the side of NDE. Maybe he can be the change that NDE needs, and be interesting to see. But bans to go out, Flores and Nock to be the first attacking bans, and that's not really anything too crazy on a map like Villa. Obviously, Flores really good at clearing those shields and those Kiba barriers, and Nock good for those lurks, but Solus to be banned, and that's going to eliminate that pre-placed intel of Solus eliminating those drones, and going to be off the board. But last one to come out, what do you reckon it's going to be, Elijah?
I'd love to guess, but I'm so entertained by Ajax and Glut at the moment. Looks like they're listening to a song and they're dancing, but Valkyrie will be the very last band, so it looks like an intel sort of thing coming out from the bands from both of these teams, and good vibes only by both of them as well.
That's what you want to see,
Too much fun. Good vibes is always what you want to bring coming into a Siege game, because at the end of the day, you're going to get your mental chalked, right? If you go in with good vibes, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, what is the point? But we're going to go to the trophy statue first, so not a unusual thing to go to first, but most teams like to go for that Aviator Games to kick things off, but Nutty, they got other things in mind. And in terms of the lineup, they're bringing a castle, so I wonder how that's going to come into play. Maybe they're doing that little strat that we see where they open up the middle and they barricade those little windows.
Yeah, I got to see them do that just at the beginning there. That's the exact extension that they're looking forward to doing. It looks like they're going for an extension across the entirety of the top floor, just in general, as they're already setting up those hard walls and those head holes looking into study as well. You can see the preparation already being done to extend yourself to that master bedroom control, and it's going to be that much easier now that you've got the Azami in play.
It is, and it's definitely going to be tough for the attacking side. If the Azami's in play, but the Flores isn't, you're going to have to dedicate those Gorn 6s if you have any. Oh, but by the looks of it, they're not running that at all. They're going to run the Ash and the Zephyr, which is also a good choice for clearing that out, but that's if it's not met by those Jaeger or Wamai discs that you also have to deal with. So it's a bit of a utility game at the moment. As well as you got these castles as well. This is going to be a real pain for NDE if they're not able to clear it quickly.
You gotta be so happy with that Flores band. You can see it coming to effect, just already making it so hard for them to get any control. You're gonna need to use some of these hard destructions, soft destructions rather, to get rid of these keeper barriers to open up yourself a little bit of space, and it's already being capitalized on a squish, finding the first blood, removing the Thatcher this early. It's not looking too good.
Yeah, eliminating Thatcher, although you don't really need to open up any walls, having that EMP, those EMPs are good to sort of eliminate those Wamaitis and whatnot, but Osa, she's jumped in. She's got the keeper barrier for cover, and Fang, he's there to cover his teammate as well. Gotta be careful about placing your Osa shield there. Hopefully no one comes below and pops that hatch. Otherwise, you will drop to your demise. But Ducko, he's gonna take some heavy damage as well. And it's just damage for damage at the moment.
Oh, nice kill from Ducko, though, being able to find it up onto half and leave it to a 4v3, but he's in a really rough position, stuck under the single window of Astronomy. It doesn't look like Huey is aware of his position, and he is really low HP, so he has to play his life here, otherwise he'll be definitely picked up in the end, but it's doing really well at the moment for the side of NDE. They got some room to work with, but in terms of the kit, it's being placed down apparently, and it's supported behind the Osa shield. Looks like you're going for a plant as you're choking on the smoke. I don't know if it connected. It looks like it didn't, but in the end, Ducko is able to find another kill thanks to his sneaky spot under Astro, but immediately another kill will go out by drops. Leave it all alone for Dave to pick it up. He did get the diffuser down though. It looks like Raindrops is going for a little bit of a stick, but the double swing from NTE will be able to find it out.
Kiwi gets a bit of a freebie at the end there as well, but look, all laughs from the side of Nutty, and they're having fun. They're having fun. Obviously, NDE, they did well. They were able to get the plant down, but they just didn't have enough bodies to cover, and those keeper barriers were up as well. So even though Dave had the plant down and he was playing outside, it blocked him from stopping the defuse, you know, either way.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
But they're going to move to this Aviator Games. They're going to bring the Warden as well as the Smoke. So double the shields. And this castle again.
Looks like they're really liking the utility that castle brings. And why wouldn't you, right? I love it. I love myself a castle, as we all know. It's really good in terms of cutting off lines of sight. I like the extension from the team.
But look at the attacking side. Look, the Mountain. He is there in the pick list. He is not being switched off just yet. That is going to be an interesting play by ND. If they utilize that Monty to take the control, seeing as they're going to be met by all this utility, like these castles and those keeper barriers from before. They're not running it this round, but nonetheless, they're going to be faced with all of that. So having a Monty will just make it that little bit easier to deal with that utility and those players. So we'll see how he utilizes it, whether it's effective.
Different sort of push. I'm used to seeing a Monty just do a sort of a direct straight into the study. And instead, they're just going to do a sweep across the map as well. It's going to make it very hard for you to be able to slow down the push from Monty specifically, as the threat that it holds so much pressure behind it. Potentially somebody being there to swing, but Casters are making it just that harder to take that bathroom control. You're going to have to use some of your util to get rid of that. Monty playing aggressive within himself though to try and find an early pick. Hopefully he doesn't lose his life this early on, because that'll completely change the way that you can take this site. It looks like it's full sweep. Nothing to go at just yet though.
It is the sweep, and they're making quick work of it. They've already got this trophy statue control, so they're able to sort of slow down a little bit and work out how they want to deal with this top red players. He's got a shield and ADSs here as well, but they've got a shield of their own, and he's got to be careful, but they've also got to be careful. I don't quite know where those shots came from onto Gospel. Maybe I think it was 90 hallway, but bit of a stalemate right now. Everyone's waiting for each other, and Ajax to find half, and he's going to be first to fall, but Kiwi with the refrag back, and he's keeping his team in this right now. A minute 16 as they approach the landing side, and they're going to be careful of below so they don't get C4'd. Oh, there is no C4s. I am mistaken.
Yeah. You have that comfortability of being able to walk on a soft floor without Monty needing to be a little bit scared of being removed, and they're doing well. But at the moment, though, they've got 57 seconds left to do anything. They haven't even got control of 90 yet, regardless of having the Monty. But the shield will make it just... Oh my god, a nice little hip fire from Dave. They're able to connect to the head of Ducko and remove him, but the smokes are going to create some distance as well, as Kiwi finds the second kill of this round for himself, to make it to an even 4-2 now for both of these teams. Now, you've got the grenades still in your pockets. You might be able to clear up one, but it will do the shield instead with Squish, rotating himself back into Study as well with a nice shot to remove the Nomad Gospel from play. And you've regained control of Study. That is going to be huge in potentially stopping the denial of this plant. You'll be able to do it successfully if you can manage to get the angle, but it looks like Kiwi is holding the plant. He won't be able to swing from Study. He's got that, thankfully, to the turtle shield that Monty provides.
Yeah, Dave, he's got the dog in him right now. He's avoiding the smoke. He's getting the hip fire headshots. He's doing it all, but Glut, he's also doing it. He's taking out Fang on that 90, so that's your ace and that angle removed, and Warren's just going to sit there on the door and as Smoke sort of contests this player, but the shield is doing work, but Glut, he's got the better shot. Now it's all left to Dave. Does he have the entire dog in him? He's making it work right now, but the diffuser is being diffused. And I think he's wasted enough time.
Oh, he did.
Is he covering it?
I think he did it! Oh my god! That was insane. Yeah, he tried to down the Monty, but in the process, that shotgun with the large spread that it gives, he downed himself in the process now. I mean, downed his teammates, sorry. So, in the end, he managed to buy enough time to take it to an even score of a 1-1.
Bit of a messy finish from NDE, but they pick up the round win nonetheless. And the Monty putting in the work for them there. I think it definitely helps. Not only getting that frag, but getting that control that they needed with the aggression that Nutty are, putting up. So getting that plan down as well. I don't quite know how he was able to dodge the smoke with that shield. Man, it's just the shield parts the way through the smoke.
Man, that's a rough end. You can imagine just how cut the boys at NTE are for that.
Yeah, not as many smiles here on the camera. They're focused up, They had their laughs in the first round, and now it's time to sort of reel it in. Focus up and try and secure some more round wins. But still early days. It's only round 3, but from what it looks like, they're running the same sort of lineup. And that is a cheeky little bulletproof in that landing. If you don't sort of spot that out, that can be pretty crucial for the defensive side. They're able to gain a lot of information, especially in those later parts of the round. But for NDE, it looks like they're doing a same sort of push. Clearing this side with the Monty.
What are teams really liking the pressure that Monty brings recently? And why wouldn't you, right? It's so strong in terms of collecting intel, getting the advantage on just walking through a doorway without having to worry about potentially getting your head taken off immediately. So I like it. It definitely looks like they're not looking to waste time, but Squish, neither is he. So he finds the very first pick to remove half from play, and that's your sledge.
early frag to get, and that's your only nades on the board. So once again, it's always the lethals. We always see the lethals get removed from the attacking sides first, and there we have it. We've got Gospel. That's the Nomad being taken out as well. So no sort of air. I don't know if he's placed his air jabs in Astro just yet or not, but I would imagine not all of his utility was down. Still had those flashes and whatnot to use, but that was an ambitious play from Kiwi, and Duck, he's going to capitalize off that, and Squish going to find the head of Dave, and that's your Monty. So it's all left to Fang in a 1v5. The new player for today for NDE. His first game, this would be something to achieve, wouldn't it?
I mean, it'll definitely be a huge statement to make, and it looks like at the moment that the extension is just too much for them to work with, being so successful this round in particular. So I don't need to work anything back. It's quite undoable though, against 5 members of NTE. There are some that are lit, but you've got the shields left to deal with, smokes, the castles if they have any left, if they weren't already distributed just on one side specifically. But as you can see, Squish is going to clean it up nice and easily and give them a flawless round.
Very, very well played from Nutty. That is what you want. They adapted a lot within that round. They were able to work their way around with the picks and not drop a single player. So even though they're not changing the lineup, they're changing the way they play it. And I like to see that. I like to see that. But obviously this map, I'd like to say, is a little bit more defender-sided with the way that these two teams specifically play it. But we have seen attacker-sided villas before. Maybe NDE are just warming up. But we're back here. We're back to the trophy statue, Elijah. And this was a tough round for NDE. They had to deal with all these keeper barriers, all the swings, all the castles, the Jaegers, the Wamais, all of it. The whole 9 yards. They got to do it all again.
So much utility just face checking the attack side at the moment, so you're going to have to read into that. Hopefully you've got enough time to figure out exactly where the site is so you can bring the util that you need. You'd see the sledge already being bought. That's definitely helpful, accompanied by the soft breaches that Ash can provide. You shouldn't have as much trouble, but in terms of getting rid of those keeper barriers, I mean, if you're not using those grenades or those Ash charges, it's really difficult. Especially
when you don't really have any flashes either. They've only got the EMPs to disable any sort of ADSs or anything like that, and they've got the smokes of the Jackal, but I think they've opted to go for this study side. They've realized that Master, it's too heavily contested. There's too much utility on that side. Let's push the other side where there is presence, but not as much utility dedicated, and they're going to do exactly that. They've taken control of this main lobby. They're going to start to push up these main stairs, and what a nade from Fang there. Able to eliminate Ajax off the board. That's going to be your Wamai. No more discs to be thrown out from him, and this is the opening pick that NDE need. I don't think they've found an opening pick just of yet, Elijah, in any of the rounds so far.
It's a good start of the round, I gotta say, for sure. Getting that early pick by a grenade kill as well without being punished by any traded HP is definitely where you want to start off. So you've got that man advantage now, but you can see the setup that has been given to us by NTE. They've got the shields accompanied by 2 ADSs, so you're going to have to use a lot of util if you want to get that off, and I don't think you have the capabilities for that unless you got willing to get rid of 2 smokes, one frag grenade within itself. Maybe you use those EMPs, which hopefully that's what that was distributed on, and it was as well. So you're able to get the shield with no problem at all, and that's huge. That is huge for this specifically.
Yeah, but they're not able to eliminate. Oh my god, eliminate the. I had a Nemo moment. You're not able to eliminate the bulletproof camera, so that's going to feed a lot of info for the team defending the site, and they're gonna able to capitalize on it if ND aren't careful, and they're not eliminating the camera just yet either, but the shield will be impacted. He's gonna place another one, but I do believe he can just impact it again. You gotta be careful here, Dave. He has another one, but the trade comes out. That's what we want to see.
You've got 36 seconds left to work back in, and this time you don't have any shields left to work with, so you'll have to go for the frag potential instead. Fangulator to take the worst of his engagement and leave him down to just about 10 HP, but you've still got the main advantage of a 4v3 at the moment for the side of NDE. It is in your favor, but you have to get control of each one of the sides for the moment. Glut able to capitalize on the kill, even it back down to a 3v3, but another down is going to make it even harder to a 3v2 now. But look at Glut and Raindrop securing the round single-handedly by themselves.
Wow. What a play from Glut there. And ND, it looked like they had the right control. They had everything going for them, but somehow, somewhere, it just all went wrong.
I feel like their attack was heavily reliant on that OSA. And when that fell back, they sort of stalled out in the end, and that's what bit them in the behind.
Yeah, I think they weren't aware that the impacts of that master player were available. They did find the trade when the kill came out, but they didn't really know where to plant after that. They tried to explode into trophy, but the crosses from Glut and I do believe it was Raindrops was just too strong, so they got to be careful of that. NTE now find themselves 2 rounds up, and NDE they gotta at least find one more round here on the attack so that they can sort of set themselves up for that defense.
5 seconds left.
Looks like they're running just about the same. This time, a little bit more global utility on the side of NDE, which you love to see. Hopefully they can secure themselves around, because they've been struggling recently. NTE just putting up that much of a fight. This time, instead of going for a study across, they're going for a default. Try to take upstairs first, because vertical. It's a huge part of winning this site specifically.
Yeah, obviously that dining kitchen site, it is the tertiary site, but a lot of teams know how to hold this quite strongly, and a lot of teams like to play a lot of C4s. You see that they're playing the Pulse, they're playing the Intel game. So, you know, no Valkyrie on the board, but they're going to utilize the Pulse instead, so you're going to be able to find a cheeky C4, hopefully. And otherwise, they're going to start to rain all that vert on you, and not really going to be able to sit comfortably on the site, but they only really have the Buck and the IQ that can do the verts, so they're not opting to bring the Sledge as well. So they're going to be careful of that. If Buck is to fall, they have to rely on the IQ, which is a little bit more dangerous to sort of conduct that vert. But Raindrops, he's trying to shut down any sort of push from happening above here, and got some ADSs to back him up.
It looks like altogether that they're focusing a lot of manpower on keeping this vertical play in their control. Not only have they extended up there with a few reinforcements and Raindrops as well there with an ADS like you said, but they've got some of that soft destruction from below upwards that is watching that closet walk in. Now Ducko able to find the very first kill in this round and remove your Buck from play, so that's definitely going to help you a lot in terms of keeping that vertical up. It was been forfeited though. The trade hasn't been successful. You won't be able to use too much in terms of vertical, as you've only got those 3 hard breaches that IQ can provide. But Ducko will find the second kill in this round for him, and he'll be able to remove Osa, yet another very heavily reliant operator to keep up, especially later on in terms of your execution.
Oh no, another double C4 that we've witnessed. That's unfortunate. That's a flawless. Another flawless for NTE, and they're loving this defense on the Villa. They're absolutely loving it, and it looks like that ND, they're on the back foot now. They sort of have to win this next round. That they're not looking that bad on the attack. It's just it all falls apart in that mid to late round when one player gets picked off. They all sort of drop off just like flies, and Nutty just continue to explode off of that initial pick. They don't seem to slow down at all.
Well, you got to imagine that all the odds are stacked against NDE at the moment. Not only having another addition to their roster, but they can't make playoffs, right? You haven't really got that motivation there. for you. You're really playing for yourselves at the moment to have fun, but you can imagine that the drive has been lost just that little bit, especially with the disadvantage of being stuck on that attack first on a defender-sided map like Villa. It's rough. It's looking rough.
It is looking rough indeed, and they, like you said, they don't have that added motivation, so they're only fighting for themselves, and maybe at this current point in time, it's not enough to carry them over the line, but still a lot of rounds to be played. Hopefully they can prove us wrong. Hopefully they have some sort of secret magic trick up their sleeve that they can show us and put us to shame.
Like some early damage to go out. Fang to be able to find the very first kill in this round, remove Ducko, leave it to a 4v5. You've got the misadvantage, but immediate 2 kills by Glut, 1 for Dave himself, just giving a flurry across the board. We'll bring it to an even 3-3 again to anybody's advantage now. We're in a little bit of a hard position to play on. You're in the study. Fang has got control of there, but the head holes will reveal him. But immediate trade back by both of these teams will take it down to a 2v2. And both of these teams just being so prominent in their refrags that it's making it hard for NDE to get any control. But they're trying to get that kick down. One player is downstairs, the last one, playing on that books angle. But they're both playing together now. We spoke about that potential refrag potentiality. And it's just going to prove again if they play close to each other. Gospel is trying to win his first engagement, but that's going to be an immediate trade and leave it down to a 1v1 for both of these teams. The smoke canisters making it a little bit hard, but you're going to have to play close here. Line scan to make it even harder, so it's just a trade for utility for both of these teams, but another one to be disputed. He's going to try to get the long arm defuse now. The shotgun is in play, but he's got the SMG in his hand at the moment, and he can't get too close. And Glut will find the third.
This man, he's unkillable. He literally has 0 deaths right now. 0.
Look at a happy man. He's happy.
He is happy. He's got the Stitch buff. Man is 9-0 with 2 assists right now. Somebody put this man down. Somebody take him out. He's single-handedly won a few rounds now for that side, and the only reason that ND have that round win and Gluttony didn't die was because he accidentally TK'd his teammate and wasn't quite able to get the defuse off in time, but he's doing absolute work. 5-1 split at the half, though, and ND now are on the other end of the stick. They are on the defense. So maybe it's their time to shine. Maybe it's the defense that really gets them going. So I'm keen to see it. I'm keen to see it. We've seen a complete reverse sweep from teams before, and you know, NDE definitely are a team that's capable of doing that. They just got to be in the right minds.
That's the best you can hope for, right? You gotta see how well you can hold up on your defense, and I'm looking forward to seeing if they've worked on their defense in general, especially on Villa. I believe they were quite successful on their Villa last time. I believe they won, like we talked about earlier. So it is doable. I do believe that NDE have the potential to clean it up here, maybe get some rounds behind them. But with the complete confidence that NDE have been given just by these last few rounds, they're having fun, they've got the smiles, the good vibes. When you've got a mental that good, it is hard, so hard to lose it. You'll end up just being so confident. And NDE losing this many rounds in a row, you can imagine that their mental has been down just a little bit.
It definitely would. It definitely would. They gotta sort of not let Nutty secure this next round. Otherwise, that is the match point secured, and that's that potential for ND to win 3 points, you know, out of the picture. So they're looking to not let that happen. Then it looks like Nutty are trying to get rid of these mirrors and nade from below, and Ajax is going to just do that. But Dave, he's aware that they're below. He's aware that they're trying to do that, but Ducko got that kill there, but it was Squish on a different angle, able to shut down Gospel, and he's had a rough game today. 1-7 right now, and you know, he's been putting in work in other areas, but in terms of the frag department, it's been pretty unlucky. But he's keeping his team in this. He's able to find raindrops, and that's your Twitch off the board, so No more shock drones to try and pop these mirrors, but I think they've got the vert below to take down these mirrors regardless, so... Oh.
Wow, that was scary, dude. I was like, oh no, he's gonna team kill his mate, but he pulled it out in the end. That would have been detrimental, but thought he almost frag-grenaded himself. A little bit of frag scares today at the moment, KJ.
But I don't think I can clench any more than what I've just clenched.
I'm feeling it, dude. The pressure is just so much, but able to deal with the mirror. That'll make it hard for Dave to be able to hold here any longer, but he's going to remain there and play his life. He will be droned out. The position will be revealed, and Ajax is playing close. And he doesn't look like he's aware of the position just yet. Doesn't look like he'll be able to get the kill, and in the end, Ajax will prosper and find himself one for his own, but 4v3 now for both of these teams, make it a 3-3 as Kiwi is able to collect up Ajax and leave it to an even body count for both of these teams. But another shot by Kiwi is able to clean up Glut. The man finally being left and dealt with, who was 9-0, now will find himself in a lesser position as the execute needs to come underway with 26 seconds left on the clock. He's got the support behind the deployable shield left on maps, but he's aware of the position inside a vault as well into Skull. He did able to see him, unable to hit the shot though, 2v2 now, but the Skull position has been dealt with. Last one, Kiwi is left there, but the median shot up. The shotgun pistol doing work.
Kiwi, you're a defensive-sided player. You've definitely woken up here, and that was definitely a round 2 win, and I think that's a relief, NDE. I think that's a big sigh of relief. They're able to sort of pat themselves on the back, but there's still work to be done. 3 rounds separate these two teams still, and I think, you know, taking Glut off the board, they got the round in. So maybe they just need to eliminate Glut, target Glut, take him out, and maybe it can result in some more following round wins, but still a lot of work to be done, Elijah, and they're going to move to that trophy statue. That is where this next round will take place and where the next sort of chaos will unfold. And they've got some traps to deal with these players of Nutty. I think that's a good choice. Nutty are playing that sort of aggressive game, so if you catch them off guard with some Capcom traps or some frost mats, you're going to find some cheeky kills.
You could, it's definitely doable. I don't think at the moment I think the ego for Nutty could be so big that they're not even going to bother looking for these doorways or under these windows. Potentially, you'll be able to get yourself some early picks without sacrificing some HP of your own and maybe even an entire life of your own. So it is a good pick. I like it. The most you can hope for is just some damage, right? Maybe you can burn yourself some time in the end, but looks like you're going for a usual sort of take. Ajax being live droned from below, though, is a little bit of a different one. He has to be a little bit careful of any player who could be down here. But it looks like that NDE aren't looking to do that. It's like Gospel. He got himself droned out, and he'll have to get back to the site, but he's immediately being fought after, though. Not being picked up, though. He wants to get back to the site as fast and safely as possible. But the bottom floor has already been forfeited. Looks like Gospel's trying to do a little bit of a retake, but nothing to come out of it just yet, as they're being so crucial and cautious about the drones on NTE. They want to make sure that they don't lose any players this early on.
Yeah, and they made quick work of it, so they're gonna, I'd imagine, start to nade below and try and get some info on the positions of these players that are playing on the site. But Gospel, he's looking to re-hit what he was droned out previously, and if they're not holding that flank, if they're not aware of his position, he can do some damage, but they are. He's able to shoot down the cam, but now he can sort of just sit. They have to come to him if they want to deal with that presence. Otherwise, they're constantly going to be worrying, is he going to be flanking? But he's just going to rotate back up these little brown stairs with the cover of the Capcom with that vert. And although they have the vert control halfway in the round, no picks have been done, and Kiwi's going to back up Gospel here, and I don't think they're aware of Kiwi's position. They know where Gospel is. He's going to rotate back up, but they're not aware of Kiwi, and he's able to find the head of Squish, and that's one of your nade operators off the board, and now it's back to the panic stations. They're back to where are the players roaming, but Ajax and Raindrops able to find some frags of their own. Gospel to find a refrag back.
Ooh.
Dave able to find one, but Gospel able to find another head of Ducko. And it's all just gunshots and gunfights all across the board. Glut He's going to take some damage to the HP, but 1v3, 50 seconds. It's a lot to ask from the man with the stitch hat.
He will do it unsuccessfully. NDE closing themselves yet another round in the books, and they got to be quite happy. It looks like they're showing up to fight now. On the switch up, now that they've got their defense, they haven't dropped a round yet. In comparison, they only get one round in their attack, and they're going to take themselves to a 5-3, and NTE will use their timeout to sort of recollect themselves, see if they can fix up their issues from this half up, as they are struggling a little bit against NDE on their attack. Now, it is a defender-sided map, and you can see that starting out on that defense was very, very hard. It's like they're using the timeout to go have a little bit of a break. Squish has left his PC.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna, go wash his face. Maybe he's gonna go have a shot of G Fuel. Something to liven up the energy. Get back in that same sort of crazy plays that they were doing earlier on the defense. Translate that back to the attack. No, it looks like he just went for maybe a bit of a walk. Stretched the legs a little bit. But, I think that's a good timeout for the side of 90. They need to reset. Each round is a new round, and hopefully that timeout could sort of alleviate that pressure that NDE have put on them. Because now, it's not as scary for NDE. They've gotten back 2 rounds, so now only 2 rounds separate them from NTE, and they're off to this tertiary side. But look at the C4s of this team. They're running 3, sorry, I can't count. They're running 3. But they do have that Capcan as well, so they got to be careful that they don't run not only into the C4s off the intel of the pulse, but also these Capcan traps that I'd imagine would be above, spread out all across those doorways.
The pulse downstairs, he was trying to play there. I believe he was being a little bit wary of the pre-placed drones that NTE had set up. Wasn't able to find any yet though, but I believe that would be enough to scare him off to rotate his positioning, play in a little bit of a different angle now. It would be the smartest for him to play where that Tetris angle is, but look at the positions of NTE. They've already taken control of Study, already taking control of Aviator. They're going to work really hard to get control of this Study in just a few seconds, which already have been forfeited. Now, that confidence in taking this top floor control this fast could be detrimental if you're not too careful. Like you said, they've got 3 C4s in the pockets of their players, and they've got Cardiac Sensor as well to provide that support. They could pre-place those C4s and get themselves some easy C4 kills. Now, Half Honor, he's going to find the very first kill as well, but Ajax is going to trade it back onto Kiwi and take it to an even 4-4 as the top floor has been cleared up. Now, Half is still up here though. Needs to get down to Astro safely. Now he's do it though. No punishment to be done yet.
A bomb has been located.
Yeah, he was able to get away with his life. He still has about, 80 HP. He still has C4 in the pocket as well. I do believe a C4 was already used, so they got to use this next 2 C4s lightly. I think Capcom's placed it, or it was destroyed. I don't know where his C4 is right now, but all the pings are coming out. Ajax able to find Fang, and that is your pulse off the board. So no more intel going to be coming from him. But 1 minute 20 on the board, and look at where Half is. He's on these top of the brown stairs, and Gospel, he's in this red corridor. They're both ready in these off sort of positions for any drops or pushes through this mem area, but I don't know if Nutty are going to opt for that sort of push.
I mean, they could always just go straight into Laundry, if they could. They've got the vertical to them as well. Oh. Quick run-up of the Astro by Half. Runner's going to be able to find a kill onto Ajax, but Glut with a nice turn on will be able to remove him from play and punish him for that, and leave it down to a 3v2. But Glut, he is relatively low HP, so he can be dealt with, which is good in the position that NDE are currently in. Both of the players playing off the site at the moment, just waiting for the execute by NDE to be passed on. waiting for some drops. But it looks like they're going for a little bit of a laundry take. A prone angle by Squish is going to be revealed as Gospel is capitalizing on those kills to bring it down to a 2v2. And the Ace Chargers are going to open up these walls. Now, this is where it all comes down to. You're able to get those breaches open. You can work yourself into Tetris and plant behind the chassis. But Gospel is ready and waiting for you. And he's accompanied by a cross angle by Dave as well. You find the very first kill, and you've got 6 seconds left, and a nice crossfire from Dave is able to clear yourselves up around. Another one in the pockets for NDE.
Wow, NDE playing that perfectly, playing off each other really well there, and just waiting patiently, not really swinging, waiting for them to swing into them. You know, you are on the defense. You have the ability to play off the time. The time and the clock is your ally in that case. And it worked out well for them. Unfortunately, Nutty were stretched for time. They were forced to either take the gunfights and plan. And unfortunately, that timeout wasn't quite enough to secure and translate into that round win. So now only one round, Elijah, between these two teams. NDE showing up on the defense just as much as Nutty did right now. And can they continue it? They've done a full perfect rotation. Now they're back to that Aviator Games. Can they continue their reign here on the defense?
Well, they're on a pretty good streak at the moment, and I doubt they're looking to let anything change as of yet, and they're going to pick up the side again. I mean, they have really good potential in creating an even 5-5 scoreline amongst both of these teams. They're not letting it slip, changing the narrative completely. It looks like NDE are really comfortable on their defense. Now, that's something to note down, as I did say that they were fighting for nothing, but if NDE are fighting for anything at all, it will be a better regulation spot. So that's the best thing you can ask for.
Of course, as well as, you know, even though you're not playing for that playoff spot, nobody wants to lose. Who wants to lose, man? We want to win. And ND definitely showing that they want to win and that they're hungry enough to come back from that deficit. You know, 5-1 half. Now it's 5-4. One more round and you've evened up things, and you've denied them from getting that match point that they were so close to receiving. And if you can continue to play smart, you might even win this round here.
Well, they're definitely playing cautious, that's for sure. They did have a member dedicated to the side of Astro, but after all of the pressure that has been placed upon him, he's given up that position and chose to go for a later flank. Now, you see Gospel, he's downstairs in the basement as well, and he's looking to do some work of his own, but Half Honor, he's positioned himself nicely in Memorial, but the flank watch is being set up, a double claim wall by Ducko. They're going to have to be a little bit cautious of that, as well as a drone for somebody to be dedicated to watch the flank. Looks like they might be aware of Half Honor. They did have that drone pre-placed there a long time ago, so they might have been able to catch him walk into the corridor. You can imagine that he was spotted out Gospel there as well, trying to rotate back to Books. But 90 control has been forfeited.
Yeah, and they've been able to clear that Book shield as well, so Fang's going to be wary of this 90 push up into Bar Hall, but the shield on maps table as well has been cleared. So Nutty, they're doing really well to clear this U2. Ajax able to shut down Half as well, so they were aware of his position, but almost losing his life. He's about on that 20 HP, but 2 minutes into the round now. Smoke canisters begin to go out, but Fang, he still has 2 in pocket, and there is the C4 of Gospel and Dave, so they've still got some things to work with. Gospel able to shut down Ajax as well, so that's your Ash. He was low HP, so not all is lost, but 4v4, 40 seconds. Dave able to find Rain as well. That's your line, so no line scans, no locking in place, but Squish able to find the pick on the Kiwi, and it's back to that 3v3, 30 seconds on the board. Who will it be? Will it be NT or NDE? But smoke canisters, that's the last of them. Needs to go out to clear some angles, but 18 seconds and we're about to see all the chaos unfold upon us as Squish pushes into study.
You can see he's got the angles as well. Had to be a little bit careful of Gospel with a C4 below. He's able to pick up another kill, but Squish is going to find one of his own. But a C4 to connect to Ducko will move it to a 1v2 now as you pick up the diffuser and run directly into the black eye of the mirror. And Dave will find the very last kill to close out and bring it to an even 5-5 now. NDE on the comeback.
We have a game on our hands. We have a game on our hands. what we thought was a dominant performance from Nutty, right back at you from NDE on their defense. And you can see some smiles from Dave and Fang there. And I think half, bit of a half smile from him. We can only see half of his face too.
He's half
Protect your bombs from
he's half happy, but half focused as well. But 5-5, Elijah. What we thought could almost be impossible. It is Siege. It's never too impossible. And they've not only completed the perfect rotation, but they've won the first round and the second rotation, and they're off to the second site of it. They're back to the trophy statue. Can they go all the way and secure the match point without dropping around on the defense so far?
Well, it looks to be that confident that they could do it. It's above you. There we go, Half Honor. He gets it in the end. But, I mean, you can imagine that they have the confidence to do so, right? You haven't dropped a single round on your defense, and that alone would be enough to chalk the mental of Nutty on the attack side. You can see there weren't that many smiles on their faces as we got to see their cams as we're pushing into the 11th round so far of Villa. You can imagine that they're getting tired and fed up and they want to close out this round. Now, it's anybody's game now, as we like to say. It's a 5-5. We're back to square one. They're going to have to change up how they play these last few attack rounds. If they hope on closing this out in the end, you have to narrowly face check NDE. It looks like they are going for a different approach, though. Ajax already made his way down into the main entrance, and he's aware of the study stairs control as well. Is able to get a quick flick onto Kiwi and remove him. But we've seen this happen before. We've seen the early pick, and as soon as it comes down to the collapse onto side, it never really works out in their favor. So it's not the end of the world just yet. But Gospel being on that low HP is definitely going to be very hard to bring it back.
Yeah, plus they eliminated Kiwi, so potential C4 to shut down those plants. And Gospel, he's going to be spotted out, so he's on that low HP. He's going to be careful of his position. I wouldn't recommend going up these red stairs. He's got, a pair of cojones on him, but he'll, choose to play it a little bit smarter and rotate back to the site. The site is trophy statue. You don't have to necessarily hold real heavy on that side of the map, but the problem is, once they've got this side, they can plan their execute after that. And imagine that Nutty, now that they have this control, they have the man advantage. They know that Gospel is tagged. They can do something, but even though he's tagged, doesn't stop him from finding the head of Ajax. And he's able to get revenge for his fallen brother of Kiwi. The shield was removed, though, so, although Ajax fell, he was able to utilize his utility rather well.
Looks like Half Honor. He's trying to go for a little bit of a flank, and if they're not wary of it, they will fall to it. A 3v4, and he's on the camera. He's not aware. He's able to find one kill, and they can do a 2v4, and he gets away safely and unpunished. Fang to fall in his own, as Glad is able to find the kill there. But Ducko, he's there for the support, ready to try to get their execute underway, but a nice little chassis position. Is able to find himself a down, but immediately get traded out by Glut, as he is able to remove Daves and leave it down to a 2v2, or rather a 2v1, as Zofia is downed. I do believe that she can't pick herself up anymore. That was removed quite a long time ago. So, yeah, unable to withstand. Nice little feature that they got rid of. But there's 26 seconds left. And you have to get that plant down still. And the positions looking really good at the moment. But nice little trade out. Leave it down to a 1v1. A Half Honor versus Glut. Now, they're both HP. And Glut has had a very prominent game so far in comparison to Half Honor. So he's got that fragging ability there, but the time isn't working in his favor. Neither is the HP at the moment, and he's close, and Half Honor will find the win. And they'll find themselves for the very first time in this Villa matchup ahead of Nutty.
Fang with the arms up. It looked like a sigh of relief. They've secured the match point. Going from one round at the half, 1-5, to a perfect 5-round comeback. 5 rounds, not dropping a single one, securing the match point, and the potential to take all 3 points if they win this next round. Can they have a perfect entire defense? If they win this next one, they don't drop a single round and win the game without dropping any defensive rounds. Can they do it? Do they have enough energy in the attack? I don't know.
I totally think it's doable, and I think that's the exact way it's going to be. I mean, not a single round dropped by NDE on your defense, and that's huge. Not one round given to Nutty, so that's a huge statement to make. And you're not even playing for playoffs now, it's just for that regulation spot, a better regulation. And you're still showing it up to Nutty, showing that Nutty aren't really good on defense. Now, if you're going up against Nutty in the future, potentially for the playoffs, right, you could think, like, hey, for our BO3s, if we take Nutty to Villa, and we have a better defense than, you could potentially secure Villa very easily if they don't work on it.
Yeah, and not only that, but like, even though we both, you know, you and I do believe we both voted for Nutty to win this game.
We did.
Plus the leaderboard, you know, NDE, they're at the bottom of that ladder. And Nutty, they're in 4th place. So, losing this game, regardless if they're not playing for anything, NDE upsetting Nutty, that's huge. And it also removes their ability to potentially finish in that top 4, I do believe. So, this would be a big upset for Nutty if they lose this.
Yeah, I think it could be given to someone else, so an upset definitely is an understatement, I would say. It's all up to this round at the moment. Looks like they're going to need to be a little bit more cautious in terms of how they play. It looks like they're going for a pinch, but Nutty to get the very first kill. Squish being able to get the kill onto Gospel and remove that cast from play, but I imagine that all of his util has already been distributed along the map. And you'll find yourselves in the man advantage.
Yeah, oh, Glut taking some damage. I don't quite know where, but he's going to be careful. He is one of the top performers. Obviously, Squish and Ajax not too far behind, but Kiwi, he's able to pick him off and able to finish him off. I'd say play it safe now. 4v4 halfway into the round. Ajax is on the hunt, though, wanting to find that pick back, but unfortunately, he was just a little bit too late to the party.
Ooh, a Squish to find a kill on to half, though, and take it down to a 4v3. So back in the favor of Nutty at the moment. But NDE still have room to prevail. They've got the intel of that cardiac sensor still in the pocket, so they can find out where potentially they could play. Kiwi is off-site just that little bit, and the pings are going out to relay that information. So you do know that he is rotated back, potentially going for a laundry walk-in. The vertical play is being dealt with by Nutty, but nobody to be spotted out as majority of the players, if not all the players, are playing off-site. Now Squish will find the 3rd kill in the round and remove Fang from play, and that'll be that cardiac sensor intel that we just talked about being removed. Now you've got one C4 and Kiwi left playing off-site. Now it's looking undoable. We might go to the full distance at the moment by the looks of it. But thankfully you've got the sledge open. You're able to get rid of those castle barricades or maybe even open up a potential pathway for you to get into Tetris. The crossfire is being set up nicely. It'll come down to it.
I think that Alibi's creeping up these stairs, and if they're able to retake Vert, then could be deadly, but they are aware of his position. They're going to C4 to try and get some angles. What a nice shot from Dave, but Ducko to find Kiwi. Now it's all left to Dave to clutch this round. Otherwise, we go to the OT, and then it's back to anybody's game, and there we go. Squish, I do believe that was his 4th kill of that round, so him putting in absolute work for his team in that round to secure that overtime. And unfortunate for NDE, not quite able to secure those 3 points, but we're in the overtime now. We're in the end game, Elijah. And the end game. Both teams had a 1-5 split on the attack. And unfortunately, ND, obviously, they started on the attack to begin us off. So they got to, because I'd imagine Nutty picked the defense. They got to choose whether they went to the attack or defense on this map. So NDE, they got to choose what they wanted in the overtime. And they chose the defense. So they get that advantage of having the defense first. But potential of 3 rounds yet to be played. Minimum of 2. So, Elijah, I honestly don't know. I don't know.
I mean, last round, like you said, Squish, he got 4 kills in the round. And you can't rely on that for the second time, right? So if you're going into this overtime, you need to make sure That you're not relying on players to find 4 kills in one round for you to win it out, because it was close enough as it was. So NDE, they could potentially make something work here. They've been so prominent on their defense that you can imagine that NTE are feeling a little bit nervous.
They definitely would be, but you know, it's in the overtime. You can settle now. They were on that match point. That was the scary part. The scary part is over. So hopefully they can reset. And NDE, they still have a timeout that they can use, but Gospel, he's getting the pings and he's able to eliminate Ajax, who's been playing so good, but he's been playing like sort of solo. So Gospel finally able to capitalize off that and finding the opening pick of the round. But Squish able to find the opening pick on his side and shut down half. So Squish continuing the frags from the previous round, and he's on for 5 at the moment. Now now he can go for his 6th in a row.
He's hungry. He's like hungry. A shark in the water at the moment. He can smell the blood of NDE. He's trying to go for 6. Not looking like they're going to give it up, though. Setting up the cans and dedicating Ajax to watch the flank at the moment, as that's all he can do now that he has been removed from play. You need to get your execute going. Now you've got 1:30 to do so, so you're not worse for time at the moment. A little bit of an engagement happening in 90, but nothing to go out of it, but the global utility will make it harder for you to hold the position.
I think they're worried that there might be an Oryx, but luckily for them,
or
Oryx
it could be a C4 toss up the hatch.
True, true. That would be an ambitious throw, though, I would believe.
We've seen that happen all day. Ambitious throws, yeah.
We've seen some marks, so that's true.
Well, Gospel downstairs, so it is doable in terms of the C4. You can imagine that he is going to play onto that default plant spot, which is what he utilized last time that C4 was for. Fang dedicating his life to try to hold the study, which they've consistently rotated at least 1 or 2 players around, so you can get that split push. But Glut able to open up yet another kill, as well as Raindrops finding 2 for the side of NTE. Will make it down to a 4v2, and there's so many angles you need to be worried about at the moment. It looked like it's going to be given to Nutty's first-handed. Dave, though, to try to change the narrative and find the kill onto Glut. Tries to go for a second. He will do a lot of damage, and he'll find it completely and successfully. With 16 seconds left on the clock for them to get the defuse down, and Kiwi is ambitious, and he's in the waters. He wants to find out where these kills are, and it is completely doable, as they aren't aware of his position by the looks of it. He finds 1, goes for the second, but Raindrops will connect.
If he was able to push in there earlier, he might have been able to find it. That was looking a bit scary for Nutty towards the end there. They had such a lead, and then it was all falling apart all of a sudden. But luckily, they had that man advantage, so they were able to trade back the kills, and they were able to find another round. 7-6. They go on the defense now, so they broke the curse. They were able to win another attack round. Can NDE win an attack round of their own as well? Or will this be the final round, Elijah, and we see Nutty win it in overtime?
NDE, they really struggled on their attack. Now, to compensate for that, they were running that Montaigne, but I believe that didn't work too well last time. So I can't see it working too well again. You are into that statue and that trophy side. Castle, the normal extension that you would see Nutty doing, is coming underway. It's all about how you push. I got to imagine that they don't want to do a direct as last time. They were completely ran through. So it might be a study across what we've seen from both of these teams.
Yeah, I think it's still doable, though, for NDE. I think even though they're on the attack, even though they are in that disadvantage, and you did say the Monty, but they've chosen to switch off it. They've brought the OCE instead. And they have struggled with this site before, but maybe playing it themselves on the defense and playing it twice, I do believe, on the attack side, they're able to work out how they can shut down the defense of Nutty. How they can work their way around the way that they hold it. how they can shut down these positions, eliminate the utility that they needed to get onto that site, get that plant down, or just frag out.
They're doing a little bit of drone work, Gospel, to try to feed out the player who's playing in Astro. Still got a lot to deal with in terms of these Kiba barriers inside of Master.
They do, but it's just a stalemate. Everyone's just waiting. But as I say that, Ajax able to find the opening pick onto Gospel. Fortunate for him, he's been quite the opening pick for Nutty. They love taking him out first. He is obviously Ash. He is the face of the push. But Dave able to find the pick onto Squish, but immediately refragged by Ajax onto half. So that's your Zafir and your Ash off the board. Both the soft breaches off and out of play. And all left to Fang, Dave, and Kiwi to win this round for NDE. Otherwise, we go to the W screen for Nutty.
I'd like to say it's still pullable. There's a lot of struggling going on for them at the moment. Whoa, but even more so now as we go to the 3v3 and an aggressive jump out by Gospel. It's going to make it that much easier for NDE to potentially win this round. It is only left to Glut and Raindrops. Glut having a very prominent game so far, and he'll make it even more so. He tries to down the player of Kiwi. He will do successfully, but no confirms to be brought up just yet, as he just finishes him off and leaves him down to a 1v2 now. NDE need to be a little bit cautious and not play around too much as Glad, as he's been very successful recently in terms of these clutch type situations. He'll be able to get the kit down though, the smoke not being able to connect enough into his lungs to take away some of that HP. The Oster shield is going to make it that much harder. Now the position's going to be given away, a little bit of HP done to Glut in return. But you can't do anything here. You need to play a little bit more aggressive. And NDE have pretty much just confirmed this round for them all alone. But it's not all lost. There is always room for things like this to happen. But against OSHA Shields, it's asking too much.
It is. He doesn't have any impacts to destroy it. And there's too much to ask from him. He's done so much already. And we go to the full max OT. And NDE go on that defense again. So both teams, although they struggle with the attack in the regular rounds, Elijah, in the OT, they seem to be experts all of a sudden.
I feel like those defending rounds, without dropping a single round like over and over and over again, it definitely gave them a level of confidence that they couldn't achieve in those early rounds of their attack. Now that they've sort of read into how these players are, how their mechanics work, you know, their play styles and things like that, they've had that little bit of info given to them. They have that confidence and they have that ego to swing them, which is what they didn't have in the first beginning. Now that you've had all of this time to adjust, they've changed up how they're playing, and they'll find themselves to our overtime match point, which is the very, very, very last round of a very close Villa game.
Very close indeed, and
5 seconds to go.
You know, we voted for Nutty, but ND, man, we love the underdog story, and I didn't quite think that they would show up this hard today, but I'm sorry for doubting you. I'm sorry for, no matter what.
An underdog story, for sure. But we don't like to lose.
We love the effort. We love the effort that you've put in today.
So Kiwi's trying to get aggressive in the master bedroom. He was droned out. The global utility is going to give off a red ping as well to his position, and he's going to be able to rotate away safely. Doesn't want to lose his life this early on, because throwing your life away this is pretty much just saying GG and throwing up the big rude finger to the rest of your team.
Yes, you don't want to... This is the round where whoever the opening pick is, it's a real tilter. And this is the final round. You want to be alive for the final round. You want to do some damage. You want to be the one that says, hey, I helped us get that final win.
I got my one.
You don't want to be the one that put your team in that disadvantage. You don't want to be responsible for that. I sure don't. And I'm sure that no one would like to do that. But Ducko taking the first amount of damage in this round, and hopefully he's not going to fall just yet, but minute 40, so almost halfway in the round, and they still got a lot of work to do. They still have to take this 90 and landing, and Kiwi gonna open up the round, and Ajax, he's gonna wear the blame of that one, as he is the first to fall. But minute 30 in the board, and imagine that they're gonna try and aggress and try and find the pick back. But this is an interesting mirror that we don't see every day. It's on the 90 wall, Elijah, and I sort of like it.
I like it as well. I mean, imagine swinging that, thinking, yeah, I'm going to take bar control, and there's just a black mirror facing you. Now, it's one of the scariest things to see in Siege, is when you think you're safe, there's a black mirror facing directly at you, and you don't know whether there's someone behind it or not. It's going to give an advantage to Kiwi in the bar.
Yeah, and it also gives you all this info here with this mirror. You're able to see if they push through this way, whilst your teammate behind you can cover your hallway in half. He's going to cover the team, and he's going to find the pick onto Squish. It's looking rather dire for Nutty right now. 33 seconds. They got to start to push in and get this plant down. That's their only hope, but they've got the vert to throw those C4s all the way through. And Gospel, he's able to find Ducko. Nutty, if it's anything that you're going to pull it out from somewhere. Oh, yeah. You're going to need it, but they're going to go bar hall. They're going to have to face Black Mirror and Gospel. Gluttony able to find one, but can he find all four? He's going to ace to win the game, but Kiwi to find the head of him, and that's GG for NDE.
NDE winning themselves what was quite an undoable round of Villa. What we thought was going to be easily swinging in the way of Nutty Gaming. NDE not dropping around for majority of their half on their defense, and in the end showing it up to Nutty in an overtime match point. 8-7 NDE with a successful win to get themselves a better regulation spot. And I believe that's a huge upset for Nutty Gaming in its own.
Yeah, obviously we did discuss a little bit during that match there that Nutty, they aren't secured in that top four. I think they may be secured in the playoffs in general, but being in that top four, we saw earlier in the bracket that you get to be in that winner bracket part. And obviously, if you're in the lower parts, you have to go into essentially what would be the losers bracket. A lot harder to fight through and a lot more work to be done in that area. So NDE, even though they don't have the chance to be in said playoffs, that's going to put Nutty in a rather interesting position. They still get 1 point because they did go to overtime, and NDE get the 2 point. But, I wonder how that'll affect the table as this Playday continues to go, as well as the Playday next week. But Elijah, we get to have another cheeky interview.
Another one indeed. It will be Gospel to join us for that interview. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Gospel to the camera and the interview. How are we doing, Gospel? How are you feeling after that very, very long and exciting game of Villa? You guys did so well on your defense half. I got to hand it to you. That was incredible.
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad, bro. Like, just kind of a little nervous, not gonna lie. But, the boys pulled it together and we came back, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, you guys went from a 1-5 deficit all the way to secure the match point 6-5. You almost won the round and got all 3 points, but you went into that overtime. Obviously, in the overtime, you lost the first 2 rounds. The first round. And then what was the sort of mental? Like, you guys sort of looked all smiles, when you started to win those defenses in the regular time. How did you get through the overtime?
I think when we got into the overtime, like, a couple of us were just a bit too overconfident, like, after winning those rounds. So, like, me and, like, half and stuff were, like, just doing stupid shit and getting punished for it. So, like, that's the whole reason why we went into overtime and lost some rounds. But, like, once we realized that we were doing stupid stuff, we just went back to playing normal again, like we were when we were winning. Straightened it out.
Love to see you guys having that ability to be able to read into that. But you guys played super well. I got to hand it to you guys. You guys are definitely working a lot better than what we've seen in the first part of the seasons, which is really good to see. I mean, you guys were struggling in the beginning, but are you guys doing anything to improve? Are you guys scrimming a lot together, or?
We try and get scrims, but, like, it's not really It's not really anything too heavy, nothing too serious. Like we're just scrimming whenever we can. Like I'd say like the main issue we have is like having a consistent roster. Like we all just swap around and whoever plays is, you know, whenever whoever is available they just play. So I'd say that's just the main problem. But yeah, I'd say if we get a consistent roster, it'll get sorted out.
Maybe for the future you can get that consistent sort of roster sorted, and then you can be on your way to improving as a team. But you know, you had Fang in today, and it looked good. It looked like, although I don't know how much time you've played with Fang, he seems to fit in nicely, and you've picked up a win with him, so that's always good as well. Were you guys sort of expecting to go to Villa today?
I mean, like, I don't want to like pry into like the maps we like the most, but like Villa is definitely one of the few we like the most. But like I was kind of expecting Nutty would want to play like an Oregon club, but they ended up banning both of those maps, so I was kind of surprised by that. But like it ended up being Villa, which is something we're comfortable on, so it didn't really matter too much.
Awesome. Well, it worked out in the end. But before we head off and let you go, do you have anything to say before we head you up?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the boys in the chat that are supporting us, and good job to everyone on my team for straightening that out and winning an actual game. That's kind of huge. Hog. But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Gospel. We'll see you again, hopefully soon in the future.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'll see you later.
See you, Gospel.
Awesome. Yet another exciting and close game of Siege. This is the second of the 3 games that we have today, because obviously 2 teams, like we talked about earlier, have been forfeited. So we've only got 1 more game left to do ahead of us. But KJ, before we head off, do you have anything to say?
I'm keen for this last game. I think, you know, we've seen both these games today, both so close. Obviously, the first game, 7-5 Trident's way, and then 8-7 for NDE's way. We've had some close games. So I wonder if the third game is going to be just as close. But this last game, it's a pretty influential one. Obviously, we've got that the Bandits versus Kill Squad. So first place taking on third place. I'm keen to see it, but we'll go to a short break. We'll get it all sorted. So if you guys are watching at home, you know, don't go anywhere. As Elijah always says, stay hydrated, stay healthy, stay safe, maybe even. But yes, we'll catch you guys shortly.